Welcome to our channel or our website, depending on where you may be, TurnkeyIPTV.com. This is just going to be a quick demo of one of the free apps. So if you haven't already watched the setup video, go ahead and watch that. In the meantime, I've got some apps lined up here on the home screen. Again, you can get to the same apps under settings, apps, and whatnot by watching the other video. You'll be able to navigate. I'm going to come down here to this app, which you can see in the upper left is called Terrarium TV. I'm going to go ahead and select that and launch it. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite apps. This is a free app, so this is going to be one of the apps that is going to be preloaded. This you do not need a subscription for, and it's just, I don't know, it's worked really, really well for me over the last 2 or 3 years. Anyway, when you launch it, you're going to come to this screen right now, and let me move the camera down here just a little bit. Okay, you can see on the top that little circle is highlighted. So let me scroll to the left to the hamburger menu. Okay, now if I go to the hamburger menu and I launch that, you're going to see that we're currently under movies. So what you're going to be using mostly here is TV shows, movies, and favorites. So let's go to the TV shows, and then that little drop-down menu is again highlighted, okay? So you can see to the left of that green circle in the upper left, it says trending. So if I launch that little drop-down menu, you can see that you can choose by trending, recently updated, new shows, premieres, airing today, most popular, most played, most watched, top rated, Netflix list, Amazon list, Hulu list, YouTube Red, action adventure, sci-fi and fantasy, crime, drama, comedy, family, western, war and politics, soap operas, reality, documentary, and kids and animation. Okay, so you can sort the home screen here on this app by picking one of those categories. Okay, so let me get out of that. Now over here, see where I navigated over to the right where the star is now highlighted. That is your favorites list as well. So you can get to it there, or you can get to it through the hamburger menu. Now let's go to, let me make sure I'm on shows here. I am on shows. So let me go over here to the little hourglass. Let's say I wanted to watch a show that had Alaska in it. So I would just come here and I would type in Alaska. A-L-A-S-K-A. And then I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to click next. So now it's going to load all of the shows that have Alaska in the name. And as I scroll down the page, you can see that there's tons of them. Now the little thumbnail images will load. If you clear your cache on the Firestick itself, it basically wipes out all these little thumbnails. So when you go back, you have to give it a second to basically import all the data again from the internet. Okay, so let me find one here. Let's say Deadliest Catch. So you have to scroll over until it's highlighted in blue, and then you select it. Okay, and it shows you the overview. You can play the trailer. If you play the trailer, usually there's a trailer on YouTube. Sometimes there are trailers, sometimes there are not. Sometimes, you know, once you're in the YouTube app, then in order to get back to this screen, you actually have to hit your home button, go back to this app, relaunch it, and go back to where you searched, and then maybe search again. So sometimes playing the trailer, sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's a pain in the butt. All right, so if we click on season here, you can see that, let's see, there's 14 seasons on the screen. Okay, so now if I want to bookmark this, I can just come over to the star right there. As you can see, I can select the button and it fills in the star solid. Once the star is filled in solid, it's under your favorites menu. All right, so let's go back here. Now you can see on the top of the screen in the middle there, there's TV shows and there's movies. So let me scroll back up here. Now let me click on movies. Now you can see it's now loaded all of the movies with the name Alaska in it. So the nice thing about this too is you know, there's no commercials. So typically 1 hour show, they cut out all the commercials and it'll be 42, maybe 44 minutes. And then another thing that I've found being a user of this app over the last several years is that a lot of times once a show has played on TV, somebody that is in this industry will go ahead, they'll chop all the commercials out of it and then they'll upload it. So a lot of times that episode will be up a day or two later, but typically it's up, you know, at least before the next scheduled show a week later. All right, let's go back here. All right, I'm going to come over here to my hamburger menu. Let's go to favorites. All right, so you can see that the only thing I have bookmarked on this installation right now is Deadliest Catch that we just bookmarked. So you can bookmark, you know, you can see in the center of the screen it says TV shows, and then if I go up to movies and I select that, you know, I bookmarked this movie earlier just to show you. Now let's say we want to launch this. You got to scroll down until you highlight it until it turns blue. You select it, gives you an overview. Okay, now if I want to play this movie, I can either hold down my select button for about 3 seconds, or I can go up here to this little arrow on the right. So let me go up to the arrow, let me launch it. Now what this is going to do is it's going to go out to the internet and it's going to scrape the links on all the servers where this show is hosted. So you can see the first one on Stream Mango, there's 0.91 gigabytes, and then the Rapid Video one is 886 megabytes. And as you give this a little bit of time, it'll bring in these other streams that are available. Now the good thing about this is if you have a slower internet connection, you can actually wait for this list to load, and then you can maybe go down and pick one that's maybe say 300 megabytes or 400 megabytes. So maybe the movie will be a little grainier, the quality won't be as good, but it will definitely minimize the amount that you're streaming. So for example, in our market where we live in Phoenix, we have a 100 megabyte connection. And with that, we get 1,000 gigabytes monthly of data transfer. Okay, so that's literally over 30 gigs a day. So it's hard to use up the allotted amount. If you go over the 1,000 gigabytes, then what Cox Communications does here is they bill you for 50 gigabyte blocks of data transfer. So you've used your 1,000 gigs that come with your service, and then for every 50 gigabyte block that you go over, there will be another fee on your bill. Now we have not hit that, and we have multiple devices here in our home office. Everybody has one. Everybody uses this at night. So you can see that first one, HD, is 1.61 gigabytes. Now, Stream Mango, I really like them as a streaming service. So I'm going to go ahead and say play. Now the thing with this app is if you're impatient and you don't want to wait, you know, then it's easy to get frustrated. But you know, the qualities of the movies are typically very good, and sometimes you got to give it a minute to let it, you know, go out to the server where the file is stored and let it start streaming through your Amazon Fire Stick, which is actually called your set-top box. Okay, so you can see it's buffering. It will launch here in a minute. So again, just be patient. And you can see that the movie is launching now. Now, a lot of times if you're running into buffering issues, what you want to do is simply pause the video like I did, and then you can see in the lower left where it says, actually you can't see it. Let me move this down a little bit. Okay, now you can see it. It says 14 seconds. Now, there's that big white circle right there, and then you can see that it's loading. That little white line is coming in. So if you ever run into any buffering issues, let's say, we ideally would like you to have a 10 or 15 megabyte connection, okay? If you have only a 3.5 or a 7 megabyte connection, then you might, be prone to have to pause it more and let it load and catch up. Okay, so anyway, if you run into that issue, it's a good time to pause it, let it load, use the bathroom, get your drink, whatever you need to do. Okay, so anyway, that is basically it for this tutorial. Again, you can, as I showed you with the Alaska example, there is just tons and tons and tons of stuff. Also, there's a lot of movies that are new releases that are currently in theaters, and what you'll find with that, typically those are what we call cam movies, CAM, where somebody's actually taken a video camera into the theater, set it up ideally on a tripod so it doesn't shake around, and they record the video, and then they go ahead and they upload it, and then you have access to it through your Firestick and through this application, Terrarium TV. So you'll find that to be the case with a lot of cam movies, but other ones are, in Blu-ray quality. So it just depends. But like anything, there's a little learning curve involved. So once you get your Firestick and you have time to get familiar with your remote and you've got everything set up, it just takes, a couple weeks of messing around with your different apps to kind of figure out what's going on and really how to get the best use out of your Firestick. Anyway, we appreciate your time. Thanks for watching the video. You have a great day. Thank you.